Now, the thing about truth, and I've talked about this in the past, is about fake news. And it appears that we're going to be handing over, or have already, the power of opinion to Silicon Valley and the technocrats and all of their cohorts. We're not perfect as human beings, and there's always going to be a difference of opinion, from global warming, vaccinations, to the moon landings. And if we hand the power of decision over to Google and similar companies, we're at the brink of falling over, or of handing over the power to these companies and the robots that they're creating. And the most idiotic arguments in support of this seems to stem from the religious followers of science who are the proponents of the ubiquitous scream of "it's science," and then they argue that science is truer than everything else, when we actually are the creators of science, so it can't be truer than us and what precedes us. So it's often these people who shout this out, they often follow it with contradictions, that science is open and it's willing to change or admit that it's wrong. And this is one of the problems with physics, at least. And this is why there's so many wild ideas out there. They're not beholden to anybody, and they've got such open free range that they can just go and make mistakes and go, "Oh yeah, by the way, we were wrong." You won't see that in biology and chemistry as such. It does go on, but not as such. Because, for instance, if you talk about medical healthcare and so on, they can't just wildly take guesses and make mistakes because lives are at risk. But with physics, they just kind of make some, there's parallel universes and multi-universes, and, like the lights are waving a particle, and, they just keep going on. And it's just not grounded in anything. It's grounded in mysticism and magic, to be honest. Even the word magic appears too often for my likings. And even science proves that science isn't true. For instance, Google's current algorithm still shows bias if you typed in and search, for instance, are vaccines good for you, or is climate change true? And it has a strong lean towards good and true in each case, when in fact, in both cases, they're quite undecided on a global scale, both by ordinary people and scientists. Now, we're on a slippery slope when we allow Silicon Valley to decide what is truth. We as human beings, we've thrived and survived with tale after tale of dragons and fairies and giants and folklore, some of which still survives to this day. And it's been harmless in popular culture. Maybe not in its time directly. There may have been some kind of effect it had, but it's how we function as humans. And to take that away from us and let the machines with their cold logic have control, I don't think is a good thing. That's what makes us humans, the fact that we make mistakes, the fact that we don't memorize everything, the fact that we forget, and the fact that we tell stories, that we make stories up. And if we selectively remove the untruths and push forward what is held to be good and true, and in the majority of the views held by European white males, because we need to decolonize everything, then we're going to quickly move towards a totalitarian state's leader's wet dream of control, as George Orwell saw it coming.